Chapter 37. We had time to make up. Time and miles. With Rodeo's little 4-hour detour, 8 hours round trip, our timeline was out the window. It was a 6-hour drive to Poplin Springs, and it was a little after 4 in the morning. The soonest we could get there was 10 a.m., well, after the bulldozers would start up. If we were lucky, that is, and didn't have any flat tires or busted brakes or blown carburetors or anything like that. It was a race, pure and simple. It was just a matter of hoping we got there before and not after. The upside was that now we were going right through Yakima, where about half our group was getting off. I mean, technically that's an upside. We raced. Through the early morning and through a pretty decent chunk of the Pacific Northwest, we raced. Up hills and down hills and over rivers and around mountains, we rumbled along. Sometimes some of us slept. Most of the time, most of us didn't. We stopped and did a couple of crazy gas fill-ups working as a team, with Rodeo filling the tank while the rest of us ran in for snacks or cleaned the windshield or hit the bathroom or walked Gladys. Everything was done at a run so we could hit the road again lickety-split. We tried turning on the radio a couple times, but no song ever seemed to fit quite right, so we mostly rode in silence. The sun came up. Towns little and big blurred by. I spent half my time sort of not sleeping and half my time looking at the clock and half my time checking how many more miles we had to go. We got to Yakima a couple hours after sunrise. Concepcion had called ahead, so her friend was up and waiting, and her and Miss Vega and Salvador hauled all their stuff off Jaeger and onto the sidewalk. My feelings about goodbyes hadn't changed, though, so I didn't stick around. I couldn't. I was exhausted, I was scared, and I was sad. I couldn't hardly sit still or see straight. There was no way I could throw a "hey there, my best and only friend, I guess this is goodbye forever" on top of it. I was feeling about 7 different kinds of alone, and I really didn't want to make it 8. So I took Gladys and walked her up the street a bit for a potty break, which she apparently desperately needed. I'd never known a goat could hold so much. I waited until the sidewalk was empty, so I knew the Vegas had all gone into the house and out of my life forever. And then Gladys and me walked back to Jaeger and up the steps, and I made it a few steps toward the back before I froze solid in my tracks. "What are you doing here?" I asked, and Salvador answered, "I'm going with you. I asked my mom, and she said it was all right." "She did?" "Well, she said no at first, like 6 times, but then she said yes." He flashed a Salvador smile at me. "Rodeo said you could swing back and drop me after. I want to make sure you get it." I smiled. Well, I assume I smiled. I couldn't actually feel much besides crying and sniffling and falling forward to wrap my arms around that Salvador in a fierce, grateful hug. Salvador hugged me back. Gladys bleated. I grabbed a seat and we were off. It was 8:30 on Wednesday morning. Up there, 2 hours away, in a place I used to call home, they were probably firing up bulldozers.